Good morning, traders. How we doing out there? Who's ready to get things started? It's time to wrap up the week, but it's been another fabulous week right here on Trade the Pool. Guess what, guys? Green, green, green. That's what it's all about. Sometimes not going to be as big as we want it to be. Sometimes we just might get lucky. So today we will be looking at multiple trades. I'll be talking about what's going on out there on the Sunrise Report. There's a lot to take a look at today, guys. So it's going to be expansive, a lot of news to cover, and then a lot of stocks to take a look at. A lot of trades out there. I still am in on a swing trade on Tesla. So let's go ahead and take a look at the playbook and see what we can come up with today. All right, first up on the playbook is that Tesla play, and I think it's that important for me, right? And so I'm in it, guys. I will let you guys know I am in this, guys. I did get stopped out yesterday on a wick that was a little frustrating because I just wasn't at the desk. So this wick here, right at the end around 3 p.m., that went down to 227.35. I had my stop set at 227.50s, and it went right to it and bounced right off of that level. So now a little frustrated because I don't have that great of an entry. I have an entry closer towards 229.30s, but going to look to see if Tesla can get through the highs today, get into the gap zone. That's really what I'm looking at. That's what this play is all about. It could pull back to the 9 EMA, 225s today. We'll see what happens if it goes through that green box. And if it gets to that green box, why would it go there? Well, one thing to keep in mind, right, guys? And I've talked about this plenty of times. It's focusing on what, guys? It's focusing on the robo-taxi day. Now we're getting closer towards the middle of the month. Of course, it's not the main focus right now, but the robo-taxi day is on when? It's on October 10th. So I'm putting it on the radar. As we get closer and closer, I expect this to run into the event, not during the event or at the event, right? So that's what I'll be watching. Buy the rumor, sell the news. We'll see what happens in Tesla. Let's get to the second play here. All right, let's take a look here. Second play is going to be NNE. NNE, what is this stock? Well, it's a stock that I just mentioned on Monday that I was trying to swing trade this, guys. And I got to say, this one was a mistake on my end. I didn't risk the full dollar. I cut it down to about 50 cents risk. And I bought this at the high that day, and I should have been adding at the 850s instead of getting out at the 850s. I took a $150 hit on the swing account, but really missed this trade up because if I take a look at the chart, I mean, look how pretty the move is now. This is why you got to sometimes be able to hold towards the support. The support was 8. I was talking about it on this day, on Monday. And then Tuesday came and it starts to jump into that 8. I buy at 9 and then I got risked out at 850. That day, it just went to 850 on the pullback on that day where we got stopped out. I got stopped out right around here where it was at 844s and it never even went to 8. The very next day, it just shoots out of there, guys. It went 56% off of that rip. Now we're up at the $12, and I'm watching this as this is one of the top trades that I've been talking about out there. This is the nuclear energy trade, the one that was mentioned by Trump. And I also talked about it with SMR. Look at both of them. They are getting a nice little lift, and I will continue to watch these. And what was the stock that got this going? It was Oracle, really. Oracle made multiple mentions of using nuclear energy to kind of keep them going and keeping their costs down. And that actually got them a nice little boost. I think that's what brought it a little bit back into light. Now you're seeing the move continue. So I'll continue to watch NNE to see if we can break through 13, 14s, eventually starting to work our way back up to here towards 19 is where I could see kind of the top outlook here for NNE. We'll see what happens there. Not a bad trade at all, guys. And now I'm going to go over to one that's going to be interesting, especially to expand upon it in the Sunrise Report. So I'm looking at Yang right now, and I'm actually thinking about swing trading this right now as we speak, guys. Take a look at the action here. We are pulled back here towards the 880s. I did see a big buyer set up there at the 880s, and now we're pulling back towards that level, starting to bounce off of it. So really think this is interesting to watch also in the day trade side of things. And I'm also going to be watching to see if I short some China names today. This has all to do with the Biden administration. We'll talk a little bit about why the Biden administration is doing that. But look at the move right now, guys. I got to take a trade, man. I'm a little frustrated because I wanted to wait to the open to try to take this trade. But seeing Baba already take a hit down there towards the 84s. So I'm thinking about shorting Baba here, and I'm going to go ahead and get a starter on right now and see what happens. I can't risk too much on this name, but the truth is I wanted to wait towards the bell, but hey, it might not give me the chance to wait for the bell here. So I'm taking a look at it, guys. You guys can see it's coming down here, and this is why I'm also trying to play Yang, because I could expect this Baba to come right back down there towards the 83.05. So it's kind of fighting in this zone right now. I was trying to get short there above the 84.50s. It was like hanging out here, hanging out at the 84.50s. The offer was up there. I didn't get any bid at 84.50s, but we'll see what happens there. Baba already getting a little bit of a cut down. Could flush down through that 84. I'm going to go do the sunrise report. I'm not taking the trade right now because I just can't focus on it. But if I could, I would be trying to attack this Baba. All right, guys, now to bring you over to the sunrise report. Let's go take a look at what's going on in the market right now, guys, and we'll talk a little bit about what news is happening, and there's a lot to take a look at. So, hey, and a couple surprising ones. Let's go to it, guys. Today's sunrise report. All right, traders, let's get to it. Let's start talking a little bit about the Biden administration and what they're doing here. I think this is very important to catch, guys, because these are big moments, right? When you start to think about the macro situations, those can affect multiple stocks. So let's dive into today's key developments across the market. First up, we got the Biden administration closing the de minimis loophole. What is the loophole? That's what's important, right? So really what he's calling for is the overuse and abuse of a trade law that allows packages under $800 to enter the USA without paying duties, right? So this is essentially a loophole. And the Chinese retail giants like Shein and Temu have been shipping goods directly to American customers with little scrutiny. Now, a new rule is on the table that could change the game, excluding the items subject to U.S. and China tariffs from the exemption. So could this be the start of a major shift in trade policy? This is something that definitely could affect these China greats, right? Baba, PDD, especially with Temu, right? I've talked about it, how Temu has been working, and a lot of people pretty much buy from Temu and sell on Amazon. This happens every single day. And that's one thing that they're trying to kind of cut out here. And if they cut that out, that's going to affect multiple stocks. It can even affect Amazon. Yes, I'm saying this right now. This situation could affect Amazon because I'm telling you, there's countless peoples that just buy on Temu, right? They find a cheap product on Temu and then they go and they sell it on Amazon. Trust me, you can make easily 300, 400% on these products. So does it make sense? Yes, it does. You can make money. The question is, do you have enough inventory to try to make that type of real money, right? Because margins only make sense if you can scale it, right? But this is something to think about with these companies. And now we could see continued downside in these China names that have already gotten hit. So for any reason we get weakness today, and it was a weak China market, well, just be careful, guys, because this could turn around the big boost that we're getting right now in some of the tech names. Let's get to the second one here as we kick things over now to Restoration Hardware. Oh, looks like I got Boeing here. Looks like I for some reason, I skipped it here. So let me just go ahead and let me get to the Boeing and then we'll go back to Restoration Hardware. So Boeing, of course, you guys know I've been super against Boeing, right? I mean, I think this company should be getting destroyed. And this is going to help that destruction. Let's talk a little bit about it as Boeing facing strike headwinds, as they just talked about how they were going to be able to stop this strike. Well, they weren't able, right? Boeing is feeling the heat after its factory workers walked off the job, halting production at the company's most popular airplanes. The labor dispute comes after 94.6% of its workers voted to reject the proposed contract. demanding higher raises to offset the raising costs of living. Boeing CEO Kelly Orberg warned that a prolonged strike could destabilize supply chains and could cost the company billions. Shares fell 4% in pre-market, and this is going to be very important to see how Boeing navigates this. They've already had enough issues. They've been pushing back on deliveries for their planes and giving customers the knowledge that, yes, we're going to have some delays here. Now, the delays could get massive, and this could be the start of the final destruction in Boeing. I know that everyone thinks Boeing is never going away, but the truth is, if they keep up with this, I don't know how they survive, man. And now, of course, labor situation, this is going to be a negative towards them because it starts to eat up their margins. It starts to eat up their gains, right? And Boeing has already been having enough struggles and safety issues, and they need to make their workers happy. Because if their workers aren't happy, guess what? They're not going to be focused on safety so much as what they want, which is their concern is, right? So Boeing, I still see some downside into the market today. If we some reason get a real kind of wipeout move, Boeing could be down big. It's already down. I was looking at it in the 4 a.m. time to see if I was going to trade this down. Really, the trade was the last couple of days. You had a nice bearish pattern to take a swing trade, knowing that this day was going to come, and boom. Now you get the kind of the catalyst to really take down the stock. We'll see what happens there. All right, guys, let's keep going. Now I'll get over to Restoration Hardware. So let me go back to that one. Let's talk a little bit about Restoration Hardware as they did beat earnings. They reported a Q2 earnings per share here at $1.69, beating the estimate of $1.56. Sales came in at $829.65 million, exceeding also the expectations. They adjusted the Q3 revenue growth forecast to 7% and 9%, with full-year revenue growth expected between 5% and 7%. So solid numbers here from Restoration Hardware, and this is actually causing a lot of stocks to get a lift today. I saw Wayfair up on this. I saw multiple retail names on this, and now we need to take a look to see what happens moving forward. Honestly, not an area that I feel too positive about, but the earnings are the earnings, and it seems like things are getting better. All right, let's keep it going. Let's get to the next report as we keep things going over to Nano Nuclear. And this is important, right, as we take a look at this action. And where did my Adobe go? All right, well, let's just keep it moving. Let's go to Nano Nuclear Energy. We'll talk a little bit about Adobe moving after this. Nano Nuclear Energy is trading higher after the company entered an agreement here to develop an advanced transportation system for high assay low enriched uranium. So this is a big move in the nuclear energy space and something that could continue to give NNE the lift. Of course, we talked about it. It was on the playbook. We'll continue to watch how NNE trades here. Let's get to the next one here. We'll keep it moving here. Looks like should have. There's Adobe. Adobe stock, of course, missing on their report. And this was an interesting one because Adobe really does have some AI that hits the bottom end, right? It actually makes revenue on its AI products, right? So Adobe crushed its Q3 results, $5.41 billion in revenue, beating the expectation. Adjusted earnings per share also topped the estimate. However, the stock did dip 10% in after hours trading after Adobe's Q4 guidance came in below expectation. Adobe now expects to earn $4.63 to $4.68 per share in Q4, slightly missing the analyst projections. The digital media segment grew by 11%, but investors are clearly hoping for a stronger outlook. So what I think this has more to do is that the outlook of maybe we're going into a recession and we're going to get less subscribers, right? Less money going to Adobe. But don't forget, Adobe made a breakout on the move from AI, right? It's up massive in its AI gains. Of course, it could come down, right? We didn't expect it to just keep killing it. At some point, the AI features become commodity, guys. We'll see what happens. But in my eyes, I just think that what it is that at this point, Adobe's brought out pretty much all they can for AI. It will continue to bring out more. but at this point, there's nothing like life-changing there. I have used Firefly, which is pretty decent, right? I love Adobe's products, and I can tell you guys, it's probably definitely one of the best. Like when you're using Photoshop and you can kind of change the background, do things like that, it's going to be a big plus. But the truth is, it's not going to continue just driving the bottom line. At some point, I think this is going to slow down. And now we're seeing it, guys. This is why I think you're seeing also the slowdown of the ramp of this bubble that we were in. We were in an AI bubble. I don't care what anyone says. We were there. Now the bubble has slowed down. And if anything, at least has what? It has its kind of growth outlook, the max, the peak, I think, has been reached right now in the AI hype. The only thing that can drive it more is robotics and autonomous. That's the way I feel. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Let's get to the next one here. We've already talked about nanonuclear, so let's go to Oracle's action as they gave some outlook that is looking really good here. So let's talk a little bit about their Oracle forecast here. They're forecasting a major revenue growth. Oracle shares are also on the rise after the company revised its revenue forecast, projecting at least $104 billion by fiscal year 2029. Right? I think this is a little bit kind of jumping the gun, right? We're talking about 2029. Who knows what the environment is going to be in 2029? They're just trying to continue the momentum that they had from early on from their earnings, getting the lift. The cloud computing giant is ramping up capital spending, and analysts are bullish on the company's long-term trajectory. I did see a lot of analysts upgrades, and this is another reason why they're coming out with these numbers, trying to continue the upside outlook in Oracle, and they're accomplishing it at least for the short run. That's going to do it for us on today's headlines. What's your take on what's going on the looming trade shifts and the latest earnings reports? What do you guys think about Adobe there? And share your thoughts, right? What do you guys think also about the Biden situation in the China stocks? I'm going to be watching this trade, especially today, as I do think that it'll be playing out. And it will depend on which way tech goes today, because if tech just continues to lift, I think it can lift the boats, right? All tides, like, the big tide can lift all the boats there. But the truth is if for some reason we do get that decline and we get a big red day today, I do think that there's going to be destruction. And where will I see it the biggest? I think I see it from some of these China names. So we'll see what happens there, guys. Let's get to the trading action. There's a lot to take a look at today. I'm ready to go trading, guys. There's so many trades that we can be looking at, right? And so we'll be watching to see what's going on in technology. We'll look at the China trade. We'll look at some nuclear. We can look at solar. There's a lot moving out there. Let's get to the action. You guys know what time it is. It's time to kick off Trade the Pool Live. Let's go.
Wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
What up, team? How we doing out there? Who's ready to get into the action? You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool, ready to go get to the trading action and see what we can come up with today. Let's go. Let's go. That move on TNON. What the hell happened there, Mustafa? I hope you saw that. Pre-market trading is no joke. The best to stay away. Wait for the regular session. Mustafa, did you trade that? Please don't tell me you did. I'll tell you what, though. I did. Let's get to the action, guys. Let's take a look at what happened this morning. And I did take a little hit there in the swing trade account. Now, let me go to the swing trade account and show you guys that. So I was thinking about, well, what the hell would happen on that TNON as this thing was up there to 130 this morning. It was an absolute ridiculous. It was after hours where this was up there, but at 4 a.m., this was popping right back to that spot. 8 o'clock. Guys, this was just ridiculous. And then they put out an offering in the morning, right? I think this is the type of stock, guys, that you just want to stay away. But it did have a nice decline there. I actually could have shorted it this morning. I mean, we could have been short since this morning and just rode this wave down. If you actually looked in the report, though, this is what could have given you the insight, right? And why you would have been making sense to maybe take a shot on the downside was if you looked at the offering, they did give exercise price near $3 and 30 something cents. So essentially, the price could come down there today. It could go all the way to $3. It's at 11. I didn't even know what to think about this stock. This is just madness. Madness, I tell you. So I'm going to leave TNON alone. Let's not even talk about that because let's just be honest, guys. Yes, you could have made a Lamborghini on that today. And yes, you could have. But the truth is, it's nothing that I want to trade, right? So we'll leave it on the sideline. Actually, we made money on this yesterday. We'll find out what happens. Of course, you guys see the swing trade on right now in Tesla. And I am taking the swing on it, guys. I do want to continue holding this and wait to see what happens at the bell. We'll see if I add to it. Right now, I only got 60 shares, 229.40s. Let's get out of that. That's the swing trade account today, which I'm still doing decent. I've been battling. I'm kind of back and forth right now, guys. I'll show you guys a little bit more of that account later today. We'll take a little review of the accounts. I feel like lately, you guys have been asking more and more. You guys want to know more about my account situations. And I got no problem with that, right? Because the truth is, I try to be as full transparent as can be. So you guys do me the favor. Hit the share button today. Hit the like button. If I see enough likes, I'll go ahead and I'll literally open up Trade the Pool. We can go into it. We can take a look at some of the best trades I've made, some of the worst trades I've made, and maybe learn from that, right? Let's get to the action. We'll see what else is out there. Day Trade Tony just got the break of 13 on TNON short. Spreads on TNON difficult to manage 1,000%, but just be careful out there, right? There's nothing wrong with it, man. Adobe looks good at the 530 area. Something to watch out there, guys. And we'll be looking to see what happens. Definitely, I wish I would have been here at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. because if I would have been here, I wouldn't have felt bad about taking maybe a 10 share short on that TNON. But hey, it is what it is, guys. I don't think it's something that we need to stress about. There was also other names this morning that were moving that just didn't get the breakout. I was looking at this SMX and actually took a little loss on this one, and we'll look to see what happens if it comes back through 4. But this is one that I was watching this morning, just didn't want to break out. VMR was another one that I didn't trade, but also was up this morning, just couldn't keep going. SMMT is another one that I'm watching this morning for potential short, and it's already kind of breaking down here. So that's when I get a little frustrated, right? Because it's not even 930 and it's already down there towards 27. This was up there to 29.50s and it was making a nice little attempt towards the high. And that's what I saw here. I was like, can I risk off the 29 off that 30? And this comes back down to 22s. Yeah, it could come back down to 22 today. So I'll be watching SMMT to see if I can get a short on this. I think it's just gone a little bit way too far. 1, 2, 3, and kind of a fourth attempt to make another pattern this morning. Failing that is why I'm looking at it. It does look weak right now, Day Trade Tony. So I kind of like this one. It's just more along, how do I go after it now that it's already declined since I was watching it? This morning, I was watching this around 6:30 when it was at here at 29s. I didn't even see the starting action, and now it's already down to 27, right? So I'm $2 away from my entry. It's a little tough now. I could swing trade it to the short side. That makes sense, but we'll see what happens, right? Also, of course, going to be watching Yang. I've talked about this one. It's at the 880s. What's going to happen with these China names today? I do want to get short on Baba, but that was up at 84.40s, and now it's at 84.10s. Taking a look at it here, really would like to get this one towards the bell if it can get any little pop towards the upside. I have no problem getting after these names. I was also watching PDD this morning, and it was declining pretty strong, right? I mean, look at the action off of that 7 a.m. It went from 97 down to 91 and could keep going down, guys. It's in a bear flag right now, and it could just break right now and keep going down to the next level. You guys can see how it's starting to drop down through that 91.50s. If it gets through that 91.50s, I could see it going back to 91. This is going to be definitely on the radar. It's going to give us a good sign that Yang is the play here. And of course, this is with Temu, so just be careful. But if that can break right out the gates, it does make sense here. Look at Baba already breaking. That's where it gets frustrating because a little part of me thinks I need to take this right now because it could just flush towards 83s. And after that flush towards 83, there's not much more for me in this trade. So here it is right there at 84s. Do I just take it right now in the pre-market? Because it could very much just be back down at 83. So got to go ahead and make that decision right now. I should have already been in this one at the 84.40s. Was watching it right at the gates when we started the playbook, and there it goes into the 95s and 80s. I'm probably just going to sit on the sideline right now. I'm waiting for the open, really. That's the key here. But downside coming in there. And what's going on? Tesla dropping fast, guys. What just happened? Looks like we're getting some downside to come in here, and that could be the decline that could really kind of take down some names out there. So Tesla, big hit to the downside right off of that, and Baba starts to come down. So hey, Yang looks to make sense here also off the 880s, looking for this to come back towards 890s and then $9. That's just a 10-cent move. Could easily go up to a size, let's say towards like 1,000 shares. This does look interesting for me, guys. And even the takedown on Baba still looking interesting for me. We'll see what happens, guys. Right now, I'm just staying on the sidelines, but we'll see out the gates if I'm able to play this China play. This will also be affecting different ones out there. You can look at FXI to see some more decline. You could short Ying, right? So I'll be looking at Yang, of course, to see that's the China bear. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is out there. Tesla because of Uber. I'll take a look at it out there to see what happened there. Man, I want to short Baba so much. I hate shorting Baba in the pre-market. I would rather trade it in the intraday. But we'll see what happens there. Let's go to Tesla. That is still coming down here. Let's see what happens there with Uber. Probably some news out there. And there's Uber with a big push there. Did they sell something here? Let me go find out, guys. Just got to go to Benzinga Pro here. All right, so Uber and Waymo extend partnership to bring autonomous ride hailing to Austin and Atlanta. Not what you want to see there, guys. So this is what's affecting Tesla right now. This could keep bringing Tesla down right here, as this is an expansion partnership with what? With Google. So there you guys have it. So Waymo, of course, already in San Francisco. And Uber getting a nice little lift on this. Nice little pop there. Could ride this up for like kind of a 1 minute momentum. But right now, I'm just going to stay on the sideline on this. This is actually affecting Tesla on the downside pretty significant here. I'm going to look to see if it washes it off, but could actually ruin the trade already. We'll see what happens there, guys. That's the swing. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what happens in the intraday market. There's still so much to talk about, guys. Unity, big pop yesterday as they came out with some news of changing up subscription costs. And I was watching this just literally yesterday, guys. We created it on the 12th. We're looking to see if Unity was going to get the lift, where growth name's going to get a nice little push, and boom, now it's on a nice little push there towards the 1944s. Could keep going to the 20s today. This is affecting growth stocks overall. We were just looking at Stark the other day, and now look how ARK is taking off. This is how quickly things can swing between growth and value. So something definitely to take a look at. Oracle, it's nothing that I want to touch up here, guys. It's just way too far. And with the kind of guidance they gave this morning, yes, it can continue to lift, but there's nothing to say that it can't come back towards 165. I just think it's way too far now to come after this name. I hate playing charts that are like this, just at their all-time highs. There's no levels to go off of this. You're just playing it based off sympathy, and sympathy off of the fundamental numbers. And when you do that, do you really have levels to go off of? I don't think so. So we'll see what happens there in Oracle. It could keep going higher. If I had it on a swing trade, let's say from Monday, yeah, I would probably ride it out from here. I'd be holding, let's say, off the 161 level. But right now, it is holding up here, but could pull back towards like 166 and 165 eventually. All right, just going to continue to look around to see what else is taking a trade out there. I see the Qs pulling back. I see Nvidia pulling back. So that's not good signs there. We could still get some decline here, and that would kind of names start to look really good here. Just got an alert there. I have no idea what kind of alert that was. I don't know if that was Benzinga Pro that gave me an alert there, but something happened. Uber with a nice little push there. Now 73s, 73.40s. So getting a nice little push there. And Baba now down towards the 83.95. So we could see that decline come in on the China names. And Yang is down towards 880s. I would love to see this go back towards the 70s at the gates. I'll definitely look to take a bigger position in that. And the VIXI, definitely going to be in play today, guys. We'll see what happens on the VIXI. Going to be seeing if we can kind of cash in on this, right? VIXI is going to be a hard trade. That's for certain. But we'll see what happens right now. It's hanging out at the bottom end of the range. Could have a big update. It just depends on how the market trades. Or we could be right back towards 11. So just be careful out there, traders. I was even taking a swing on this yesterday. Was up pretty decent on VIXI. And then kind of came back. I stopped out about for $7 down. But at one point was close towards like 100 up. We'll see what happens there on VIXI today. All right, catching up with you guys in the chat. What are you guys taking a look at? What do you guys want to watch? All right, we'll see a lot of Oracle talk out there. Let's keep it going, guys. Let's get ready for the bell. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Turn it up, guys. Turn it up. Out there in the market today, looking around, guys. To get after it and get some trades on. Seeing a lot of you guys joining in on Twitter today. It's a busy day. It's a lot of action. Be careful out there, traders. I know I need to be careful out there, especially maybe out the gates, because everything's going to be looking juicy, right? We'll see what happens here, guys. Back and forth action. That's what I expect. Tesla right back up towards 228.60s. It's going to be back and forth, guys. Just be careful out there. Do I know which way the market's going today? I'll tell you that right now. As someone that has some years of experience, hell no. No one does. So just stick to it right now. Right now, we're still in kind of this bullish rebound area, and we got to continue to watch to see what happens there. Q's just hanging out, right on the top end of the range. Could take it. The bulls could take it, or they could stuff it, right, and start to take some profits. We'll see what happens there. Looking around in the market to see what is moving as of late. I'm going to go to some of the smaller ones to see what's moving there. ATPC is the one that I see up there towards $3 right now. We'll see what happens on this one. This one just recently spiked at 9 a.m. So nice little spike there. Trying to take 3 right now and go to the next level. Doesn't look bad for a scalp off of 3s, but now it's already moved up there. So we'll look to see if we get to the next push here. Pullbacks make sense back towards 270s and 260s. Look to see if ATPC takes the next step. And of course, it's in packaged foods. So just to know the industry is also very important. Wayfair up this morning. Of course, that's on that restoration hardware. We'll see if Wayfair can get a lift today. There's a couple of names here that look interesting that are showing up on that scanner because of restoration hardware. Looking around to see what some other ones that are showing up there. Another one, Beyond, BYON, right? So, of course, this is Bed Bath & Beyond, but BYON doesn't look too bad here. So we'll look to see if this can get another lift here and start to go towards 12 today. It's definitely hot, so keep your eyes on it. We'll see if it can continue to push. And why is this pushing? Restoration hardware giving them a little lift. WSM also up on this. So Williams-Sonoma with a nice little lift there towards 142. We'll see if this can actually push there, but this actually made a recent split that made it a little cheaper. We'll look to see if it takes the next step up back through the 145. All right, guys, what are you guys taking a look at in the chat? Throw them up in the chat. Throw it up there. Throw it up there. Chat getting quiet on me. What are you guys looking at? And man, that TNON, we won't even get into that conversation. That's a whole nother level. All right, looking around, guys, I'm seeing Tesla right back up there, so we'll see what happens with it. It did bounce there in 15-minute candle. You can see how it's already coming back there. It's going to be a little bit of a mixed noise out there today, so just be careful. We'll see what happens out the gates. PDD still going down there, guys. Broke that 92, right back down towards the 91.33s, and this is what makes me feel more confident that Baba could see a quick wash at the gates. Another stock, of course, that I'll be watching with this is JD.com. And you can see how that one's very similar to Baba. Let's see if PDD can give us the insight, start to break down through the lows, and then look to see if JD and Baba start to play catch up. Another one that was moving this morning, WINT. We'll see if this one makes a spike later in the day. Needs to get back through 370. The level I saw reject multiple times into the 380s. And there's big kind of size filling in at the 370. I will give you guys that information. So if it can recover 370s, maybe in play. Other than that, I'd leave it on the sideline. Uber, we just watched it get the spike. It's already back down to 71.30s here. We'll look to see if it catches the dip. And of course, let's see how Google moves off of this. Will Google get a little lift on this? And that's something to think about, right? If Google is going to be joining up with Uber, can maybe Tesla join up with, I don't know, Lyft? I don't know. I don't think they'll do it. I think Tesla's trying to create its own ride-sharing app with the robo-taxi. So at that point, you would open like the Tesla app, right? That would make sense for me. And so is that really a negative? I don't know. It's kind of like a mixed noise kind of thing, right? We'll see what happens there. Trader Life, what's going on out there, guys? Where's wisdom? We always need a little wisdom in our life. All right, let's keep trading. Let's get after it, team. It's been a great week here, guys. I'm up pushing on the account, got about 800, 700, somewhere in between there. I can calculate it. And as a matter of fact, let's just calculate it out here. Just need to go to the statistics here to kind of calculate it out. We'll take a look at the action, see what's going on, especially this week. But definitely, it hasn't been a bad one, right? Like always, guys, we're going to keep the battle on. We'll see what we make today if we're able to find a big mover. Lots of stock moving out there, though. So we got to just continue to see what kind of takes lead. Of course, a lot of growth names coming back with the recent rally. So keep your eyes on that. And we'll see how the sectors look today, right? So sectors yesterday, and I've been looking at this in kind of the rally. I feel like the rally's really been like kind of the last 3 or 4 days, but we could do it as like the last 4 days, right? So what's leading in the last 4 days? Let's take a look at that. If I take a look at that, of course, technology is leading in the last couple of days, and what sectors are doing well there. We could take a look. I think it's definitely going to be closer to your computer systems, but I'll take a look at that. Solar with a nice little push, of course. First Solar has been doing pretty well, and it's lifting here in the pre-market. So continuing the move is Solar. So we got to watch that area. Of course, my stock to watch was CSIQ yesterday. That got there towards 14. So it really wasn't a bad trade. We were looking at that yesterday to see if it break towards the 14s. It didn't make a big breakout, but now I'm looking to see if it can get to 15. So looking also at Run, can we get to 20 today? If the market could stay strong, the tech names can stay strong. Run is definitely in play. We'll see what happens there. Semiconductors, of course, come into play, and then computer systems is something that you can take a look at. We've talked about ANET and Dell. Those have been lifting as of late, but even SMCI was pushing yesterday. We'll see what happens with those semiconductor equipment stocks, ASML, AMAT. I've talked about this one yesterday. We'll see if these start to make a push here. Of course, these are the ones that have been kind of pushing strong with like AVGO. Also, we'll look to see if these can kind of continue to lift there. Will AVGO get to 170? That's been one of the strongest ones. I will tell you guys that. If you're looking for a strong tech name, look at the strong action in AVGO. That's 23% in 4.4 days. Something to take a look at. Where can I find if a stock has SSR on? Well, great, Scott. You can use different brokerages to do that. I would try to find one that's free platform based to maybe find out if it's SSR. I know like maybe Webull, maybe like maybe you can use Thinker. We won't talk about that. But yeah, there's plenty of names, right? And there's plenty of brokerages out there that you can find if they're on SSR. Of course, we don't have to worry about that. One of the big pluses of Trade the Pool, right? I don't got to worry if a stock has SSR on, but it could be good information to know at least. All right, let's keep looking out there, guys. This week, guys, I'm up about 771.50, and I actually have 8 losses and only 6 wins. 8 losses, 6 wins, but still in the green. How do you do that? You focus on your profit to loss ratio. of course. Of course, you guys know I go for 3-1 towards a 4-1 outlook, and it's been a great week in that outlook, right? I'm looking at it right now. Average wins, 234. Average loss, 75, right? Max, the largest win was 572. The largest loss was 225, right? So there is going to be taking some hits as I size up, but I want to be taking a look at this in the mindset that I'm trying to push towards $600 winners and $200 risk, right? So trying to push it to the next level. And I think that's very important to keep pushing it. Javi saying, what's wrong with Thinker? It's just how I feel about it, Javi. I feel like it's very laggy, Thinker. So in my eyes, Thinkorswim is just very laggy. I don't like the way it performs. I've used it in the past. It's free. That's a big plus, but definitely something to look at. And SSR, short shares restriction. I'm pretty sure that stands for, but let me just verify here. I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for. SSR, meaning and trading, short sale restriction. That's it. So short sale restriction, of course. And this is always when, so it's all about like kind of trying to protect traders. That's what this was created. This was created after, of course, kind of 2008. And I think this was actually created a little bit earlier in the 2000s. But the role is to protect investors, mainly market integrity. And so what this does, right? So SSR is triggered when a stock price drops by more than 10% from the previous closing day, right? And so if it's dropping, let's say 10, 20% and dropping that much in one day, SSR gets triggered. So essentially you can't short it on the bid. You can short it on the offer, right? But in Trade the Pool, you don't got to worry about that, right? So that's the good part. What's a good broker besides Trade the Pool? Well, yeah, Trade the Pool wouldn't be a broker, but if you like brokerages, I mean, the best of the best, I would say, if you're just trying to get and pay for your ordering, is probably Interactive Broker. But there's so many different options here to go through brokerages. One thing I would say is that don't forget, right? At the end of the day, brokerages are here to make money. And that's another thing to keep in mind, right? So, hey, that's a conversation for another time. At the end of the day, what do I use? Trade the Pool, of course. Why not, right? I get great execution from it, and I don't have to worry about any of that other nonsense, right? There's a lot to do more when you get into different brokerages, routing situations, and things like that can definitely be a negative. By the way, give my special thanks to the technical team for making Trade the Pool trading platform suitable for Mac users. Yes, there you guys have it. Mac users, if you guys don't know, go to Trade the Pool right now. You guys can be using the web out there, right? And a different way to kind of keep trading for the Mac users. We figured out the solution. You guys ask us for the solution. We'll figure it out. All right, let's keep looking in the market. Let's see what we find today. A lot of you guys tuning in on Twitter as we're seeing a lot of action today. Now it's time to make that money, guys. So we'll be watching to see what happens out there, guys. I'm up 771. I want to make a nice, if I can make a nice 600, get to 1,300 today, that'd be great. But I'm also going to be smart, right? Don't want to get down below 500 today. Maximum risk, no matter what, 270s. If I start to risk more than that, I'm doing something wrong, right? So let's keep getting after it today and seeing what we can come up with. All right, guys, let's go. Saw a little bounce there in Baba, so I'll be continuing to watch Baba out the gates. That's one of my top watches today to see if China can come down. But it's all going to depend on what happens in the Qs, right? If the Qs just come crashing down here, even before the gates, the tech trades on that is going to be looking really well. So Yang is one way to approach that. It keeps coming down here, giving me an opportunity, I feel like. And I'm feeling this, guys. I'm feeling this trade here off this kind of 76 area to see the rebound in Yang. I think this is something that we need to be looking at. I know I'll be looking at it to try to take advantage of the downside that's in here. But we could see a nice little lift. And look at this, guys. Look at the level 2's really kind of getting ready for a drop into the 60s and then a recovery. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. Can you drop back towards the 71, 68 area and then start to recover. I'll be watching that out the gates. Look for a strong move for China on a bounce, and then watch for the washout right after that. We'll see what happens there. Yang, got to set the alert here. I'm going to set the alert at 74 and also at 880. As it starts to come back, I also want to know. Baba, got to set the alert there and make sure that I know when this starts to come back there towards that 84.50s. I would love it to go towards like 84.60s and then really take the hit. So on the high end, I'm going to put 84.50s. On the low end, 83.90s to alert me when that starts to break. All right, guys, keep throwing it up out there, guys. TC2000 is just a charting service. That's what I use here. This is just charting, right? So it's all about you guys out there. Those trade the pool have guarantees on your money. I didn't understand that one, Vic, but maybe I just read it wrong there. Will there be any other routes other than the NASDAQ? Well, it depends on where you're kind of putting your orders, right? If you're talking about trade the pool, that's completely different than another brokerage. But that's another conversation, guys. We can talk about that if you guys like, but let's get focused on the trading action. Routing orders, that's a whole nother conversation. You're talking market structure and that. Gold's been doing well lately, 100%. Great, Scott. GOLD and AU are some ways that I like to really trade gold. Look at AU this morning. AU really coming back. Why I like AU is because when it moves, it gives me like a multiple dollar move, not like gold or GOLD that's like maybe a buck, right? But you can see it. GOLD really kind of taking off there, trying to get that push right back up there towards 21s and continuing to lift there. Silver yesterday, really hot, man. Look at AG. So this is one trade that you guys can look at for potential trades to the upside and then eventually pullbacks, because it always has a tendency of pulling back. But look at the silver action there. That's a nice like 20-30% in the last couple of days. So we'll see what happens there in AG. Could pull back towards 540s today and then try to reload for the $6 move. Check out the miners too. Yeah, I've been getting a bounce back with the Qs, but not as big, right? I mean, clean spark from 8 to 920s. Taking a look at that, but I don't know, man. I need to see Bitcoin really give me a breakout because Bitcoin's just been struggling as of late. Let's take a look at Bitcoin's price right now. It's in the 57,000s. It just needs to get back to 60 and 70,000. So it's still a ways away. If we start going back into the 60s, you yell at me, Great Scott, and we'll take a look at the miners out there. Gold miners, that's not a bad one either, right? And you can take a look at that. So we'll see what happens there. What strategy do you use? I'll tell you what, Nishant, stick around. You just might find out. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is out there. Gold bathtub filled with oil. Oh, I was asking for wisdom. Where is he? Well, there he is. You know it. Oh, I love it, man. Gold bathtubs filled with oil. Good Lord. Can you imagine the sight of that? Put that on Twitter, man. All right, let's take a look at what else is making a move out there, guys. What are you guys watching, guys? SMX down now to 330s. This thing doesn't want to come back, but we'll see what happens there. Penny names will be moving around. We got a lot to look out the gates, man. We got to be careful out there. Lots going on, a lot of movement, and I'll be watching to see what can come into the declining action too. I'm seeing Wheeler coming down today, guys. Oh man, this thing was up there just recently towards $8. Now back down to 450s. You guys remember when I was shorting this thing? I just can't play this thing. It popped the very next day. I traded it on Monday to the short side. Tuesday it goes back to 990. It's back to 440s. It's a crazy trader, that's for sure. Microvast taking a big beating today, guys. This might disappear. I'm surprised to say it, but Microvast might disappear. That 20 cents needs to do something, guys, to get itself going. That's scary to tell me, but hey, it's just how it is, guys. Etsy getting the lift off of that restoration hardware. And look at Etsy, 8 a.m. Nice little pop there. Can Etsy get another lift there? So retail names really popping today. So got to be careful with that retail action there. And there's a big reason why I got out of Victoria's Secret and took the gains yesterday. And if I didn't, guess what? I would have no gains, guys. I would have had a loss on that one. So sometimes in swing trades, you got to take the money even before the targets. This is the hardest thing of swing trading, at least I would say for sure. So really big win on Victoria's Secret yesterday, over 300 win. But the truth is, if I didn't take the money and run, I would have gave it back. So keep your eyes on that. We'll see what happens a little bit later. Let's say in the month, let's say late September into October, I'll be watching to see if I can get another short on Victoria's Secret. OMIC. Don't know this one, but yeah, getting the jump right now. It's back towards the 889. Just gotten the jump there. This is, it's got the jump after hours, right? It got the jump at like 5, and now it's going sideways. I like the hourly. I like when stocks go sideways at the top end of the range. I'd look at hourly pullbacks back towards 840s to see if it starts to make its way back to 9. Nothing that I like too much, because the truth is that it hasn't given us the pullback for the real buyers to step in there. It's kind of like, do you think that someone got in on this first move? Probably not, right? And so they're just hanging out in the green, someone that was probably trading it into the 6s, and now they're just seeing it up at 870s. They're waiting for the open to take some profits probably. I'd be waiting to see if you get a quick move on the downside, and that's your approach to start trying to get in. We'll see what happens there. All right, Zim. We'll see if that one can get a lift there today. We'll definitely be watching different names out there. How are the bigger boys doing? How's Apple doing? Of course, you guys saw me yesterday talk about how I liked Apple on the playbook. It was a good move. I didn't make the biggest gains in Apple yesterday. I still made a gain, but not like this. And if it would have been on the swing trade, we'd be looking really good. It's up there towards 224.50s. I was trading this just yesterday at the 221 spot. So we're talking a nice little, 1%, $2.26. It's not the biggest move to the upside, but still gains there. We'll see if the Qs can continue lifting. Can Tesla make an up move? It's pulling back on the Uber conversation out there with Waymo. We'll look to see if it gets a nice little push. I'm in this one on the swing trade and got to watch it and manage it out the gates. But really, I have the trade on out there. I have the stop set, so I'll try to just let this one work. I am in the red there. Got to take a look here where my stop is placed here on Tesla. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. All right, I got the stop closer towards 226.80s, and that could easily come really quickly out the gates. That's going to be about a 160 hit. And the reason I want to risk about that is that I want to give myself the ability, if I need to get back in later in the trade. And if this Uber news just knocks me down, hey, that's it. It is what it is, right? You can't worry about news that's coming in. All right, Mitch, is TC2000 the broker that Trade the Pool uses? No, it isn't. It is not the broker that Trade the Pool uses. This is just what I like to use. So this is my favorite charting system. That's all it is. And I don't use TC brokerage. I just use TC charting because I just like the charting. There it is, guys. There it is. Now we're out there. Stop is placed here on Tesla. We'll see what happens. Getting some decline right out the gates there in Tesla. Got to go look at BABA on the day trade side of things. If I get stopped out here in Tesla, so be it. I just got to be careful and make sure that I don't get wiped out here out the gates. Definitely getting that decline in Tesla. We're getting that pullback here. 226 coming in, about to get hit here. Boom, just triggered out there, guys. So there's Tesla back down to the 226 area. And this could be a dip buy area. It's on the hourly. So there's the recovery already coming back. But I just couldn't stay too risked there out the gates. We'll see if we get some further decline back to the 225s. That's when I can get back in it, or a breakout on the 230s. Let's go back to the day trade action and see what I can come up with today. BABA on the radar. Let's see what happens here. Nice little fake out to the upside there in BABA. Going to take a look at it to see if I come after it here. All right, starting to see already a nice little decline. I don't mind it here, so I'm going to look to start a starter here in just a second. Got a starter on 100 shares there on BABA. I'm short a little bit here. Got to be careful for a push back towards the 84.50s, but just got a starter on there, short BABA on the day trade side of things, guys. Into the green. Now it's back below VWAP. Now I'm looking for rejections around the 84.30s, 84.35s. So any bounce back up there, we'll look for the rejections and then the cut down back below the 84s. Once we cut the 84s, I can start looking to add some more share size here on bounces. Yang is another way to play this. Now that's starting to go down. So I'm going to go try to get long Yang big here. All right, so I'm looking for 500 shares of Yang right now. All right, just grab some there at the 882s. Going to look for a pullback back towards the 77s and 76 to add another 500 shares. Putting out the 75 right now on the pullback for that. BABA already coming down there. Now getting the bounce. I'll look to get that 84.30s there. On Yang, I'm probably going to pull it back a little bit. Seeing Tesla come right back to the 228s. Q's bouncing a little bit there. Soxel ripping, guys, ripping. I don't know why, but big rip there on Soxel. I'll tell you guys that at least. Looking around, guys, trying to get after it today. BABA coming back here. Rejecting that move up there, so I'm getting ready to add towards the short on BABA, but just got to be careful here. Here's the cut back through the 90s, rejects that 84. I'm just looking for rejection from like 84.20s, 84.30s, and that could be the bigger move here. Yang still at the 882s, looking at that one, guys. I'm long on Yang, short on BABA, pretty much double dipping here for the takedown in China. We'll see what happens. There's Tesla just taking off. And look at that, guys. It just wipes me out back towards 230s. This is where it gets frustrating because I do got to take a little bit there and see what happens in Tesla. But if I go long here and I get wiped out one more time, it's going to be very hard to stay in that trade. Took the hit this morning, and it's right back up there. So I'll tell you one thing, guys. I'm stepping on myself here on this Tesla trade and should stay smaller and just let it work, guys. So I'm going to try to do that. So I'm going to go really small here, half the sizing that I had earlier. And then I'm just going to try to give myself a little bit more room on this trade. And that's what's going on here. I'm not giving myself enough room here on the trade. So there, I set it up there. I'm just going to let this work here. We'll see what happens there in Tesla if it starts to make a real run into the gap zone. All right, going to leave that alone. Go back to the day trade action and see what's going on out there, guys. That one's a frustrating one, guys. Not playing Tesla the right way. That's for sure. Even though I like it, right? And that's how it goes with Tesla. It's so hard to kind of go after it and the sizing that you need. Really, it was all about yesterday's buy. Yesterday's buy was really great. And then what happened was I took the money early. I took the money and ran with that money, and it didn't really help me. I didn't lose on Tesla yesterday, but I also don't have the best position in it. It's how it goes sometimes. All right, guys. I find if you wait 15 minutes after the open, the market usually tells you what it wants to do. I don't know about 15 minutes, but it can. 9:45 is a big spot, and you're calling an important level there. That's the 9:45 time, Rando, and 9:45 to 10 o'clock. In between that area, I do think that you do get a lot of the times directional decision making. Back down to the 82s, 84s here for BABA. I'm about to go bigger on BABA. And just forget those other tech names. I'll try to take this down here. We'll see what happens with BABA and the China names today. Tesla just ripping now 232s, almost up there towards a continuation move. So we'll see what happens there. Q's also strong. Now Soxel pulling back. Nvidia weak, though. That's one thing that I'll say. All right, here's it back below 84s. I'm taking my shot here in BABA, just added to the short side. Let's see if BABA can really start to break down here. Yang is another one that I'm looking at here to see if it really starts to make the move. It's actually above my entry here. So what I'm going to do is if it can make a move here to 86, I will go I will add to this and then just hold break even on the rest. I'll have about 1,000 shares, looking to see if I can get the first reaction here and it really starts to make a move. All right now, looking to see if Baba can just crush through this low. PDD, what's going on with PDD? PDD is actually coming up here, giving us opportunities if I wanted to go after that. JD is coming down, 26.26, so that's actually making me feel better about the Baba trade. Now Baba makes that first reaction to the downside, now into the 80s here. Could add here and then just hold break even, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step up to the plate on Yang here. All right, so I'm trying to add here on Yang towards the 85. I got, of course, 82s. So I'm trying to add 85s here and then have 1,000 shares there in Yang. We'll see what happens now. Baba towards the 85s. Let's see if this can really kind of break down towards the next layer. I could see this going back down towards the 83s. So that gives me more potential here. Let's see if this can really start to break here. All right, I got Baba 84.08, so got to be careful because I should be closer towards the VWAP. Let's say back towards 84.16. Got to be careful here. I'm in the green here. Just got to be focused. Hughes, big rip up. Soxel, big rip up, guys. All right, what do you guys like out there? If I find... I'm a 30-minute wait, guys, for clear direction. There's nothing wrong with that, William. I think that's definitely smart, right? All right, there's the kind of the trade right now, starting to make the move in Yang, but no fill on the pullback right now for Yang. So I'm actually coming back down towards my entry at the 83s, looking for a little bit of a pullback entry fill there, just in case Baba gets a little bit of a spike here. So essentially setting myself up there for a little bit of an ad. Now I'm going to actually pull it back below that towards the 880s as it starts to pull back here. And Baba's coming back to the VWAP because I could get a spike in Baba. And next thing you know, I could get that quick fill there and looking to get improved average on Yang. VIXY, how's the VIXY looking, guys? It's pulling back towards the 1212s. Let's see what happens here, guys. Will we see a turn down in the Qs? Will we see a turn down in the SPY? SPY and Qs staying strong out the gates here. Let's go to the one-day results here and see what's leading the market. Leading the market, basic materials. I talked about gold and silver. Those are two areas that are definitely strong as of late. Strongest areas in the last 4 days is going to be silver. Today, I'm seeing coal, steel, lumber. So coal is definitely an interesting one. HTC is one that I like in the coal space. It is bouncing back today. Nothing that I feel too confident in there. Going back to Baba, guys, that's starting to go against me here. Got to be careful here for a little bit of a spike as the market is staying strong. Qs are ripping, guys. So Tesla trade was a really great idea. I'm still not up big in that position. Of course, I took a swing trade on, lost this morning, but I think I'm right in the direction, just not right in my execution. So at the end of the day there, that's just more to put it out there for the idea. I hope that somebody out there is making big money in Tesla. As I was talking about this since Monday, now towards 232s. We'll see if we get to 235s today. That's going to be a big outlook there for Tesla. Nvidia, big rip up, guys, and that's interesting to see there. Soxel was ripping strong. Now Nvidia with a nice little rip. Will we get a pullback at the 9:45 time? That's the only thing that's a little bit concerning there. I'm still short on Baba, long on Yang, but Baba's coming back on me, so I got to be careful out there. I think this is more to do with what's going on in the Biden situation, so I'm just trying to get after that and seeing what happens here with Baba and PDD today. PDD up there towards 93.55s as it came back from 94s. It flushed down from here just recently, so this actually looks interesting for me, but I'm just making sure that we're not getting this complete breakout against it, so just got to keep a watch on it, guys. Baba right off the 83s, 84s there. Yang now towards 88s. So, guys, getting a nice little lift there. Still waiting for pullbacks on that, but Yang still looking good there. So I'll look for a pullback from Yang back down to 880s for an ad. just in case it comes back. If it just keeps rising, it's just going to give me an ability to make some gain, even if BABA comes against me. So I'll keep watching that one right now. We'll see what happens. BABA, right off the VWAP, just rejected that 84 kind of 10 move. So that's a big level to watch for me right now. We'll see what happens there in BABA. All right, starting to reject that 84 10s here. In a second here, I'll probably go ahead and add on BABA, but just giving it a second. BABA, what are you going to do today? It's off the 15-minute kind of rejection level up here towards that. We could go back to like even 84.30, so got to keep that in mind, right? 84.18s now on BABA. Back into the 84, almost 30s now. There's the 30s starting to show up here. So this is an add area, but I'm not going to add just yet. I'm looking for the cut back towards 84.10s, back towards the VWAP, and then I take a little bit bigger sizing here. Just got to be careful for a quick spike here. Q's still trying to break the high right now, so no reversal in the Q's just yet. Tesla at 230 to 240s now. All right, could get a rip here towards the 84.60s and above, so you got to get ready to get out if that does happen. That's going to be around 135 of risk here for BABA. That's towards the 84.75 here. Still got room to let it work here. I'm still going to look to see if we get a quick downside action move, but definitely going to go ahead and start to get ready to protect myself. Yang coming back here, guys, so just be careful with that kind of pullback coming right back on Yang. Really looking to see what happens here in the Qs, because the Qs are just too strong right now to see those China names kind of pull back. So if the Qs could give a pullback, that's when BABA starts to come down here. Definitely missing some of the Qs trade to the upside today. As I was looking to trade kind of Tesla, that's the one that I like to the upside too. ARM is doing well. That's one thing I'll give you guys. At least that's doing pretty decent there. On semiconductor, pushing strong. Pan W having a decent day. AMAT talked about how semiconductor equipment stocks have been pretty strong as of late. We'll see if this can still stay strong there. Yang pulling back to the 83s. I still got an order out to add, but I pulled it back towards 76. Pulled back till 76 here. Just taking a look to see what happens there. BABA now back towards 84.40s. So definitely got to take a look at BABA and just keep a close eye on it. Glad I'm smaller here, giving my ability to at least give this room here to reject at the 84.40s again and then come back down. Rejects the 84.40s there. Now I'm looking for a flush. Can it come down and just flush through 84s? Got to keep it small right now, guys. What's your strategy on BABA and Yang gaps? So pretty much what I'm trying to do here is for BABA, it's kind of a rejection of this move here. So you can see kind of the 15-minute, and you can draw kind of a bear flag there, whichever one you want to kind of draw. The real key is this is kind of jumping on more of a news event, which is PDD really getting hit hard today with the mentions of the Biden administration. So I'm looking to see if this comes right back down now. And PDD would need to kind of reject this move back above the 94.40s and just start coming back towards 92s and 91s. Get the flush down there. We'll see what happens. Keeping a close eye on PDD to see which way the market's moving there. At least in China names, right? Big level to watch for is Nvidia on the pullback. Does it get a VWAP buy pullback today? That's going to be a big volume level to look for. Right here on the 119s is a big level. If Nvidia just dumps here, the Qs could turn around here. Qs are pulling back at 945. My man, Rando, what are we looking at? What's the trend? Can we continue to the upside? We'll see what happens. Maybe this runs up, anticipating a dovish FOMC. No, what I think it's more, Rando, is that it runs into the FOMC. A lot of stocks will buy the rumor, sell the news. A lot of people are already expecting a dovish FOMC. And so that's what a big reason also we're getting the lift. Now from there, what will happen, right? After that after the interest rate comes in, that's where the real question comes into play. Because 25 basis points, it's kind of like a given now. We'll see what happens here, guys. Definitely watching the Qs slow down a little bit here, but will they break down? There's no given right now. They're strong, and that could keep Tesla strong. Tesla got all the way up there to 232s, now pulling back. We'll see what happens there. Soxel pulling back now, guys, giving opportunities to buy the dip. We'll see if you guys like that. What do you guys think out there on the dip right now? I'm playing the short side, but that's just mainly because of China action. And China was really weak this morning, so that's another reason why I went after this trade. I didn't see China strong. I know that tech, like a lot of people are playing now to the bullish side, and the market loves to hurt where it can hurt the most. This is a quote that I would have to give a shout out to my man, Dennis Dick. The market likes to hurt where it can hurt the most. Right now, I feel like the most is on the upside. What do you guys think? Throw it in the chat. What do you think if the market wanted to hurt the most, what side would it fall on? Press 1 if you're bullish, press 2 if you're bearish. Let's keep it going, guys. Shorting the hell out of Boeing. Oh, now you're talking my language, Wisdom. Now you're talking my language. This looks good here, guys. We just got to wait for the market collapse to come in. I'll be watching this, Baba. There's 3 resistance tries to get back above here. 1, 2, 3. Can we get a fake out? A fake out towards like 160.75. That would be great. Like a move up here and then faking out right back down. This actually looks juicy there on Boeing. I wish you the best of luck, Wisdom. Get that Boeing. Take down that Boeing. Looks interesting, man. I'll tell you that much. I'm liking it too. I'll be watching it. I'll be waiting for some downside action to see if I can maybe come right back and get after that one. Let me know if it gives you that 160.50 spike. It'll be an interesting look. All right, Baba is still just fading out here, guys. And just the key here now is that we need to just kind of watch this level. It's a big level to watch for. If we go towards a bigger time frame, we can see it, right? The 5-minute kind of rejected from this level, now trying to recover that level. And if it can just reject back through the 84s, it's going to be looking pretty good for the breakdown. Now we just got to continue to watch it, right? And the Qs are going to give us a big sign. If they just continue to lift off, well, we could just kind of keep lifting, right? And there's nothing wrong with that because I'll just continue to lifting my swing trade in Tesla. So pretty much mixed noise right now in the way that I'm trading. I'm trading some of it to the upside, some of it to the downside, and that's the way it has to be right now. PDD making another up move here, so that's going to put a pressure on me there. Got to be careful with that yang coming back and filling me now. Quick downside coming in here. That's actually good outlook there. I'm thinking about adding to Baba here as I've seen the quick downside turn there, but it's not a big breakdown. It's just a first breakdown. But I'm looking at Nvidia as a little bit weaker than the overall market today. So if Nvidia can break through the 118s, I think the market will start to play catch up and follow it. So that's one outlook that I'm just looking at here. But what I'm trying to do is just stay smaller in Baba and wait for the action, right? Because adding too much here just increases risk. It doesn't increase reward a lot of the times. It just increases the risk that I'm putting out there. PDD, we'll look to see if it cuts back down and doesn't get above that 95 today. That's a good level to look at. I'm even thinking about swinging PDD because the truth is that this could become a real battle. And PDD was a real favorite in China. Now it's down big. Baba still coming back here. We got to be careful. Going to Baba, just making sure that I'm protecting myself here. The thing about Baba is that it loves to squeeze and come right back up and then trend right back down. So you got to be careful with both sides on this one. All right, what are you guys taking a look at out there? Two. All right, shorting the hell out of Bowen. I'm seeing I'm a strong upside. PBF performing well. Okay. Looking around, guys, I'm seeing basic materials leading the action. We're not seeing much downside right now, at least. Overall, basic materials leading. Energy getting a nice little lift off today. So if you're looking at energy, that is pushing strong. Financial services bouncing back. Industrials, defensives having a decent day there. So it's a little bit of a mixed noise there, but technology trying to make the next move. Let's see if it makes the next move here. The Q is trying to make the push. We'll see if it make the push. That could keep the text names continuing the lift here. You've had multiple attempts towards this 470, 450s. What's going to happen here? All right, looking at the Qs here, just staying on the Qs to see what happens here. In the next 5 minutes, it's going to be very vital that we don't get, if you want a bull, you want that 475. Breakdown back through the 473s could be a little bit of a wash. We'll see what happens there. Tesla back down towards the VWAP there. It's a hard day for me, at least, guys, because on that Tesla swing, that's affecting my mindset a lot, guys, because I want to focus on that swing trade, but I'm also trying to focus on the day trade. Today, I'm really feeling conflicted between the two accounts, and a lot of times I don't feel that way, right? As the big reason why is that one side is like pushing long, one side's pushing short, so a little bit of a mixed noise there, guys. I am seeing a lot of you guys tuning in on Twitter, so do me the favor, guys. If you guys don't tune in before, check us out every day, guys. We're starting up at 8:30. We keep it going all the way till 11. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Do me the favor, hit the like on this stream so that we can get some more traders in here and keep it growing. Baba still kind of climbing here, guys. So ready to cut it out in just a second here. Definitely giving it the risk here that I need. Not that it's just the Qs are just stuck in a little range right now. Looking to see what happens in the Qs in that range. Is it breaking to the upside or is it going to come back down on the range? So PDD reject there at the 94.17s. Yang is just sitting in the green, so I'm keeping a close eye on that. If we can get this hard downside move, I could actually add to the Yang trade. Seeing some buys there and Baba go through, so I'm just kind of focused on that. It's going to give me the push, that's for sure. Thing here is the Qs are still hanging on, still no breakdown there, so at any moment we could see a liftoff in the Qs. There's both ways right now to play it on the Qs. And right now you're staying at the top end of the range. So that's, if anything, that's leaning towards the bull side here. We'll see what happens in the next, 6 minutes as we get to 10. It's going to be very important. SPY, what will happen? Will we get the downside action move? I'm taking the bet. I'm taking the bet here. Definitely Baba is giving me that push. Just got to be careful with the push above, let's say, the 70s. And that would be an out about like 130s, 140s. That's what I'm willing to risk here. We'll see what happens. Here comes the Q starting to make that down approach. I think you got to keep a close eye on Nvidia to see if it cuts through that 118. So I'm taking a quick look at Nvidia here to show you guys that. I'm looking to see what happens with this one because it's such an important stock, right? It's at the top end of the range, trying to hold pullbacks and get buys off of the kind of that 118.50 area. I'm looking to see if we make a move to 118 because that will put the pressure on the bulls that have been buying since, let's say, yesterday at 10:45. Let's see what happens here if we do get some pressure on those bulls. Move back up towards 120 and you're on breakout city there. Stock sell. Also opportunity off the VWAP. If you feel the market's going to come right back up, if you feel Nvidia is going to break out, if you feel the Qs are going right back to the upside, this is a play for you. Also, the momentum names, right? Take a look at those. We'll see what happens. TSM, right at the same level, right? So you're getting opportunities for those VWAP bounces. Now the question is, which way do you want to play it? Same way on the Qs. Essentially a VWAP bounce. It's just holding on the 9. VWAP is right below it, but we'll see what happens there. BABA continuing to climb, and that's not a good sign there for me. PDD continuing to climb, also not a good sign there as it comes back to 95s, right? So this is where I can start taking some bets on the swing trade side of things, short on China. Got no problem with that mentality, especially if we keep kind of spiking out of here. I'll be looking to get short on the swing trade going into Monday, but we'll see what happens there. PDD. My biggest outlooks right now are Tesla upside, China downside, and that's where it gets difficult because essentially one could affect the other, right? We all know how when China gets hit really hard, sometimes Tesla gets hit just because of the outlook there. But Tesla, I think, is moving more based on, of course, the robo-taxi. How's Uber moving on their mentions of Waymo today? That was back down to the 7150s, now recovering VWAP and holding that 72 would be a good sign for a continued lift. We'll see what happens there. Google pulling back off the 157, got the 157.50s. Of course, they're part of Waymo, right? So we'll see what happens there. Now Tesla dropping a little bit further as the Qs start to pull back there. And this is where things get hard, traders. That's for sure. As a swing trader, it's very hard to just continue to give up on this Tesla. And man, I've been trying to stay in it, guys. But Tesla now dropping fast there. And it could just come right back down through the lows. It's holding in there for right now. Definitely chased on the entry there when I was getting back into it, but that's just because I was frustrated on the loss. And definitely I would call this one a little bit of a revenge swing because the setup's so clean, but it's so hard to kind of grab this one with the right sizing to give you the room to let this run, right? We'll see what happens in this one today, guys. It might cost me about, let's say, between the two trades, I would say about close to 300. We'll find out. All right, let's go back to the day trade side. Let's see what's going on, guys. I mean, the Qs are just bouncing back and forth, so it's kind of a mixed battle right now and could go any way. Really, that's the truth. It's going to be more dependent on what happens in the Qs here and the SPY. Qs catching that 9 EMA. SPY right back to the high end right now. We could see a little breakout above this 561.25s. Let's see what happens. Or does this candle go red? I'm on the 5-minute charts too. All right, we'll see what happens there. A little bit of a decline there coming in. Boeing now back down to 158.94 as it rejected that move back through that level. So looks interesting. We'll see if we get another spike there in Boeing. I'd love to see one more spike fail, let's say towards 159.50s, 160s, and then just starts to come back down. Let me know if you guys see Boeing get a little lift off there. Q's looking a little heavier here, back towards the VWAP, and also you're getting Nvidia back towards that 118.70s here. Let's see what happens. Does it just create a quick spike here back towards 120? If that's what happens, yeah, Katie barred the door. You could see some upside here. We're definitely seeing a ramp up in momentum. It's 10 a.m., guys. Be careful out there. This is when I usually see swings between, like you talked about it, and we talked about it in the chat just earlier today. Right, I think it was Rando that talked about the 15 minutes to 9:45, and now that you get to 10 o'clock. So at 9:45, what did we get? We just got continued upside. Now 10 o'clock. What happens here? Do we get reversal or take out of the high? If we get a take out of the high, I think we're looking strong for continuation. Back down, let's say towards the VWAPs, or let's say on the Qs, the support. That could be a breakdown. You did get an attempt there. Big wick candle, man. What the heck was that? Did that really go down and up that much? Man, the volatility right now in the algos is ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous. These wicks, they're insane, man. these wicks right now, did that really wick down to 472? That's just very hard, guys. Sizing came in there, 500,000 shares. And on the 1 minute prior, you were only trading 26,000 shares. So it's back and forth right now, guys. Be careful out there, traders. What the hell was that, man? SPY has it too. Look at all that volume. That's big traders, guys. That's institution style traders. They're doing something. Now, what they're doing, I don't have the hands. So unfortunately, I can't see the trade desk at Goldman Sachs right now. I wish I could, because I would see what the hell that order was. But man, that was a crazy order. You guys that use Bookmap, what do you guys think about that order? That was something else. Market sentiment just hit there. All right. Well, 10 a.m., of course. I don't think that's the biggest mover, Michigan sentiment, but it could be. It could be, right? I mean, we saw some volume definitely get in there. University of Michigan consumer sentiment, it's not really a focus, man, but maybe they just use it today to really stuff the market. I rarely see this as something that moves the market. That's why I don't pay attention to it too much, guys. And I've seen tons of these go through the tape, right? It's definitely affecting it right now. It's looking heavy. We got 69 on that Michigan consumer number versus a 68.3, prior being 67.9. Isn't a 69 like better? So wouldn't this be positive number, not a negative number? I don't know, guys. What do you guys tell me? You guys that like the Michigan sentiment number, what do you guys think? To me, I think that was actually more of a bullish sign, at least from the sentiment. So was that a big buyer that stepped up there, and that's why the price dropped like that? Things that we need to be asking ourselves, right? So just be really flexible here, guys, on both sides. That's what I'm trying to stick to right now, just being flexible. Got to be careful here that we get some quick moves, right? So just be careful on both sides of the trade right now. You're definitely seeing that action. If I could see a real dump in the Qs, I could maybe go trying to attack PDD, because that's still going up and it's at 95.11s. Gives me a nice risk to return on that one. So I'm just keeping that in mind. I just want to see the Qs dump, and then I can go after and maybe get after PDD up here at the 95s, right? So up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3, down 3, up 4. Could maybe make one more attempt, but I don't see it past that 95.25 on the 1 minute, holding the 90 MA. I'd want to see it break the 90 MA first to tell me that the momentum is breaking. Right now, it's not the moment, but I'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. And the Qs could just make an up move, right? Like I talked about it. The Michigan number there was an actual positive number. It wasn't a negative number. So I think you got to be careful right now. They're definitely trying to shake you. Now the question is, will they bake you? And it just starts to rip higher. There was volume that came in there. So momentum's starting to pick up. Now, which direction does it pick up? Getting a little impatient here, guys, with this Yang trade, and I do want to get in it, and I want to add to this, and I want to see if the market can down. Look at the market there jumping there. The Qs just jumped a little bit, guys. So just got to be careful here with Baba. I'm gonna go set a out here on. All right, 25 stop there on Yang. If it starts to come back to the 77s, I got to be careful here. The Qs jumped and then came right back down. There's something going on, guys. So like definitely we're getting that momentum now. Now I need to see what happens here, because I saw a little jump there and then right back down. So there's some kind of trade that just got put on. Big trade. Now the question is, what direction does it go? When you get wicks like that, you got to be careful, because I think, the body didn't even close anywhere near where the high and the low were on that candle. So you got to watch to see which direction do we actually take off of those wicks. There's Tesla coming back down. It's just like a mix battle right now, guys. Big candle there, man. You don't see too many times 500,000 shares go through on the Qs. That's a big trader, man. There's definitely this big back and forth right now. Could also take longs here off of this. Look at Nvidia just starting to push. That's actually pushing me more towards the long side, guys. So Soxel going to be looking good on that push there. 3330s looking good there. AMD starting to push there. Tech looks strong right now, guys. It seems like to me, yeah, the swing trade on Tesla will be looking good here, but the day trades on BABA is probably going to look pretty tough there for it to come down with the action that I'm seeing in the Qs. But definitely strong move there, starting to push higher. We'll look to see if we see continuation. That could push all different areas, right? So you got to be watching out there to see if that can keep pushing out there. Micron, look at the Micron move there. Of course, leader laggard style trade there. I think that we're starting to see it. So there's some trades that have been lagging a little bit more than others. You got to be watching to see if those are the types of trades that are moving. ARM, Micron, big push there. Lulu coming back today. On Semiconductor doing well. Lam Research, AMAT. Those are some names that are leading in the Qs. Warner Brothers. I don't know what's going on in WBDs, but it's having a good day today. There's the move back up there in the overall market in the Qs, but Baba's not necessarily making the rip. PDD, though, did just break down from that 95, guys. I got a quick breakdown to 94.30s. So that actually looks interesting for me. I'm not going after PDD right now, but definitely that's not a bad action to see off of this. Would love to see PDD get wiped out back towards 93, the VWAP here. Definitely turned around off that 95. Still looking good in some of the tech names, right? I'm just staying with this BABA trade right now. Looking around to see what's moving in the intraday, guys. What's leading the up action? What's leading down action, right? So those are things to look at. Adobe, VSAT, Unity on the upside, looking pretty well. Solar Edge, SEDG, having a pretty good day there. We'll see if it comes back up towards the 1950s. Doesn't look too bad there on that one, on the 19 pullback. Run back to 19. Can this get back towards where it was at the open? It's washing out right now. We'll look to see if it catches a little bit of a lift. Unity up there towards 2012. So pretty good day there for Unity. The battle's on there with Baba. It's still kind of rejecting this move, and that's why I'm still hanging out here to see if we can start to come back down towards the 84.30s and then starts to break the VWAP. Then I can add to this and really look for the nice win there. Still looks pretty decent. Now it starts to turn, right? So now I can go ahead and take the shot off the 84.60s. If I want to add here, I have the opportunity. I want to see if some weakness can come back into tech, but I just got to get after this Baba. Trying to be patient here, guys. Trying to be patient. Trying to wait a little bit to see if I get this pop to 84.45. That gives me a little bit better risk to return when I start to short. There's 84.30s. It's dropping fast there at least. That's a good sign there, right? So it's not a negative sign that we're getting the drop, right? We're going back closer towards my average. There's the Qs right back down. So that actually is not too bad. Maybe we got to fake out to the upside. There's multiple sides to trade right now, guys, and I think that it's stuffing both sides of the trade, so just be careful. Yang now back up, right? Back through my levels, back towards the 86, and this actually looks pretty decent there on Yang. I'm not going to add on Baba right now, but I am going to add on Yang. All right, guys, just added on Yang, got 1,000 shares now, guys. Definitely stepping up to the plate here on this China trade. Sometimes there's only one way to go after it in life, guys, and that's stepping up to the plate right now, getting on that, guys, taking a shot. These algos are killing the little people like us 100%. And I talk about this all the time, Vic. And this is why I try to trade with the bigger time frame traders and try to stay small until I see a real direction picked. And I think that's a very important outlook, right? So Vic, just be careful out there. The biggest and best way to get around these algos is to stay smaller, because the volatility, you'll be able to get around some of that volatility. When you're too big, they just kind of try to stop you out, right? They're trying to take your money and then run with it later. We'll see what happens on this. Yang took the shot based on the pattern, right? The pattern was there. 3 cut downs below the VWAP. Nice flagging pattern. 3 attempts to break down. 4th reversal. So it was just strictly technicals that why I added there in Yang. We'll see what happens, guys. Opening price, I have an average of 84s. Need to see a run to 94s to take the first profit. If not, I'll take it all out closer towards $9. I could see it getting back there towards $9 today if we do get the breakdown. The Qs are just chomping with some people out there, but it's still going up, right? It's still, but still playing with people up here at this 475. Look at the takedown there. That's actually looking good there. Baba starting to go lower. Now do I step up to the plate in Baba here? I think I leave Baba alone and I go dipping into PDD. All right, guys, I'm going to try a little swing trade here in PDD. So it's about $4, if not $3 on the downside. So just got to keep that in mind. I don't need the biggest share size to get that big win, right? So got to keep it smaller and then look to see it work. All right, nice little pop back into the 70s here. Right there, guys. You guys saw me open up the swing short now on PDD. Just increased there as we start to come down. Now I got about 100 shares here. Got to go ahead and establish the risk, risking up there towards 96. And then I'm going to look for a takedown back towards this 91, which would be like a 400 gain. It's nothing crazy. I can add to this even more, but need to start seeing the trade kind of work there. There you guys see the trade set up, and Tesla could be an ugly turn here as the Qs start to come down. That's where I got to tighten up here, because if I do get cut out on Tesla, it needs to be at a manageable loss, right? Manageable loss. That's what I'm just keeping in my mind, right? I'll risk 100, guys. 227.50s. If I get cut out another 100 on that, I got to get out, man. I got to get out. So we'll see what happens there. Taking some shots. That's all you can do in trading. We'll see what happens, how it plays out. Baba. Looking back at Baba. Did not add on Baba because it's right in the middle. And I hate being a pig and adding in the middle. I like to short on strength or short on the breakdown. Not in the middle of the chart. Right around here. Just adding to risk and then not really giving me a bonus. If it breaks towards 84, then I can start to add and risk off the 84.20s. Just keep it tighter as it starts to get back to my entry. Nvidia just playing with people, guys, back and forth. So the market's just really kind of back and forth today. Choppy trading in the first hour is constant that I'm seeing in Fridays. Fridays, guys, we got to be careful for what? For continuous chop and then the direction getting picked. That's what I've seen continuously on the last 3 Fridays. It's been a very, very tough day. Actually, if I think about it right in perspective, this was the day that hurt me last week that really I took a big hit. So I need to keep things in line today and stay focused out there. But definitely you're seeing the mixed noise right now. Now the question is, what happened with that big sizing order? And it was a big sizing order on pretty much everything as you went through with that Michigan sentiment number, and it went down to 118, back up to 119. It's holding the 119 right now. So I'm watching Nvidia right now to see if it holds that 119. Back through the 120s is a real push to the upside, but back through 118s, and you're also putting pressure on the downside. So it's one of those days where you're just in the middle, stuck in the middle with you. And the Qs are actually stronger than Nvidia right now. So you could see let go of Nvidia, and maybe it's just that they're going towards the other names like Apple, right? So I'm looking around, guys, trying to see what's holding up here. It's definitely a mixed battle. Qs taking another move to the upside here, still holding in, still holding above the VWAP, right? And so that's still looking good there. And the Qs still looking strong in tech. It's just a slow grind though. So you can look in other areas to see if they're playing catch up. Cyclicals are definitely playing catch up. So department stores pushing back today. You're getting Macy's. You're getting a lot of those kind of retail names to bounce back today. That's why I'm glad I'm not short Victoria's Secret anymore, because that's already up there towards 23, 25s. I would be out big on Victoria's Secret. So you got to be able to know when to get out, when the getting's good. Right now, on Baba, just keeping a very close eye on it, trying to keep it tight to see what happens here. And what's the next move for Baba? What's the next move for these China names? I'm watching it. Q's ripping to the upside. That looks good there. Let's see if it continues. And if it gets back above the 475, it slows down. Looking for a 5-minute close above that 475. Guys, it's definitely one of those crazy type of days. Be careful out there, traders. Be careful. I'm trying to keep things in perspective. I think we all should be doing that. All right, really conflicting noise out there right now in the market. I just got to be careful and willing to get out, and then I can get back in, right? So that's the one thing that I think is very important here. So I'm going to set up a risk here about $80 on Baba just to be careful. If I need to get out in Baba, I'll get out, right? I was risking before this about 100 and something, but it's getting to the point where the way the Qs are, it's very hard to see the upside action. And there's another rejection of the 475. So you're in a battle right now, and you got to be careful on both sides. I think that you're seeing that action right now on both sides of the trade where you're getting potential breakouts and potential breakdowns. That's difficult. Yang back in the red, so I'm just trying to go ahead and focus on that. I did step up to the plate on Yang, and I got to be smart, right? So I added at 86 and 82s. I'm an average at 84s. Really don't want to see it break 80 today, because that gives me the ability to risk $40 on this trade. That's what I'm looking at. I got to keep that in mind. The big part is what the hell is going on with the Qs. Guys, it's 10:19 and still it's kind of like a mixed noise in this China trade, because I don't know if they're just trying to kind of jump on it, or if they're trying to wipe it out and it's just taking a little bit longer, and it might take this full hour towards like 11 to see that really come in here. So I just got to be careful on both sides. It's holding the VWAP right now, and that's what's keeping me a little bit on the sideline of adding to Baba here. Q still holding well now towards 475s, and still let's see what happens at that spot, because we've hit it once, twice, 3, 4 times. This is the 5th time to hit it. Let's see what happens. Do they take it? See the 475 right above it there, keeps stop in there, stop in there, stop in there, stop in there. So it's very important to see if it can really take it. 1, 2, 3. This will be that fourth attempt. Let's see if they get it through there. And it just slows down, right? And I'm watching this because also Nvidia is right at the VWAP. If for some reason the Qs could take that move, Nvidia, it doesn't seem too bad for the up move through the 119.70s, right? So definitely a little bit of a mixed noise, but you've gotten some breakdowns below this VWAP. It just hasn't closed down there towards the 118s. So if anything, this based off Nvidia is still looking pretty good. But the Qs really are struggling there at the 475. Bubba bounced and rejected there a little bit. So just keeping a close eye. Don't want to see it back up towards like 84.50s. Q's still trying to just slowly grind the things higher, guys. So just keeping it strong right now. Let's see what the media is out there. Ooh, 5-day winning streak is what they're talking about out there. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Let's see what else is out there. And right now, if you guys got a trade you guys want to talk about, throw it up, guys. I'm taking a moment to catch some up with you guys out there. So throw it up and we'll take a look. It's slow move up, but it's going up. As long as we're above VWAP, you should stay long. Hey, Rando, there's not a bad way to look at it, right? I used to feel that way a lot more, but I've been trading with VWAP now for what? Close to 4 or 5 years. And I just don't feel that that always works out, right? VWAP is something that has, I feel, slowly but surely lost edge. I still use it, Rando, and you'll see me trade on it. But in my mind and the way that I've seen the reaction and statistics, it just doesn't hold as well as it used to. The big thing here is that VWAP is something that every trader usually knows about now. It used to be not the case that everyone knew about the VWAP or used the VWAP. And so that's the problem, I think, in the long run, is a lot of times as indicators or even strategies get used constant, if anything, the edge slowly but surely dies. So the more traders use an edge, the less I see it work. That's why sometimes traders don't like to give you their edge, give you the trade that makes them money, really. They just don't want to give it to you, because if they give it to you, you might give it to him. Next thing you know, there's 100 traders trading that strategy and you get wrecked, right? Slow grind up right now. If you're feeling like the market is just going to continue grinding, Tesla's still an opportunity here below VWAP, right? So multiple stocks hanging out below VWAP, but not getting the rip up with the Qs. That's where it gets a little bit what we call a negative divergence, where some big names should stay strong with the Qs above the VWAP like it is right now, but are showing relative weakness to the move right now. And so Tesla, Nvidia are some of those names. Is Apple in the same camp? Pretty much. It's slightly below VWAP, but on the red side of things. Microsoft, actually pretty strong there in Microsoft. There's the take, though. There's the take. Now I see 475 show up there for just a second there. Went to 475.20s, and you're just right back below it. Holy moly, man. The Qs don't want to hold that 475 break, but let's see if that can get Tesla, if that can get Nvidia to start moving to the upside. You can see Nvidia started to move to the upside on that. Now trying to hold the VWAP on pullback, but we'll see what happens there. Baba now towards that 84.50s, really close to getting me out here, guys. So just got to be careful as Baba starts to squeeze. Q's still holding well there, guys. I'm glad I'm at like pretty much 200 here in Baba, right? So it gives me the ability to kind of just hang out here. Could take about 100 shares off here. It's going to risk about another 20 bucks there if I just kind of leave it on there. But just kind of hanging out here, watching the rejection here off the 84.50s to see what happens. Yang is one more that I'm a little bit like kind of more concerned about because it's a bigger position, right? Can't let that one drop really fast. Just going to continue to watch to see what happens in that trade. Tesla's going to be a good signal. If it just takes off to 230s, that's a signal that maybe we can get the up move. The Qs are still fighting that area. It went above it and just right back below it. So for some reason, this 475 is being really pesky, really pesky. So at that point, now 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections. You guys know my rule of 3. I look at a pullback to VWAP now. What will happen if the Qs go back to 474s? And that's what I'm looking at right now. Baba still looking decent there. I'm looking to see if Yang wants to make the move also, because if we, for some reason, could get a real collapse in Baba and PDD, I can step up to the plate in Yang and maybe go 2,000 shares and just try to get my 10-cent scalp, right? That could be a nice way to make an easy gain there. VIXI is another one to keep a watch on, right? Because it essentially has gone nowhere today. It's pulled back, but now it's making kind of a bottoming attempt around 12. And the market's pulling back fast here, guys. So we could see the VIXI start to take off here with the Qs starting to break down. So I don't want to go and triple jump into kind of a trade there, but the VIXI to the long side still looking interesting for me here off the 12s. Would have to risk off that bottoming right now. So like 11.97 is the risk. You're risking what? 4 cents, 5 cents here to see if it starts to make the move back to the upside. If it does get the spike to the upside, I can see 12.20s and 12.30s into play. So that's just thinking about it. If we do kind of get a big breakdown here and look at the Qs go there, guys, they just broke down back towards the 474 VWAP attempt. So there's your attempt to the VWAP. Like I just talked about, 4 rejections, now back to the VWAP. Now what I'd be watching to see what happened is what would happen on the next step, right? Do we just bounce off this right back to 475? If we take 475 in the next couple of minutes, yeah, you're right back up. You just bounced off the VWAP. You got some kind of some buy the dips right there. And then next thing you know, you're shooting towards the next step. Tesla on the downturn on that is a little bit concerning. So is Nvidia. So watching to see what happens if Nvidia can just make a ramp up back through the 119.20s. Of course, this could have washed out some of the bulls right quick through that 119, and now you're getting a recovery. We'll see what happens there. Nvidia is still looking a little bit heavy today. Now the question is if the Qs really break down. The SPY went down same way. It came down also, but not to the VWAP. So essentially the Qs are a little bit weaker than the SPY today. And why is that? That's because if you see what's leading today, it's cyclicals, basic materials, healthcare, defensive, energy. Technology is actually down there. It's not the leading stocks. And so that's why the SPY is the leader today, not the Qs. Sometimes the Qs is the leader. When I see technology at the top, I pay attention more to what's going on in the Qs than I pay attention to what's going on in the overall market, right? With the SPY and different sectors included there. But definitely seeing that decline there in the SPY coming back down to the 561. So there's a battle now. Baba now taking that downturn towards 84.30s tells me that I can go taking a shot there if I want on the VIXI. VIXI's already to 1205, should be up already 50 bucks on this trade. So I didn't take the trade right there. I think it sets up also for the swing trade outlook. I can go towards that and maybe say, forget Tesla, because I feel like Tesla's going to stop me out here. And if that costs me, there it is. Tesla's already out there. Now PDD's trade is starting to go into the green. And look at the VIXI now towards 1207. So if anything, this makes me look at Yang on the day trade side of things and maybe trying to step up to the plate there. 1207s, I'm already missing this VIXI trade. This is already gone. A 12 was the spot there for me, risk 6 cents. And now you're already getting what? A nice 7-cent pop. I'd be up about like 70 bucks on the day trade side of things. Let's go ahead. We'll see what happens there. Will we get the real breakdown in the Qs? We're down to the 473s now. So there's your washout, guys. So now I'm stepping up to the plate in Baba. Got to go ahead and step up to the plate and see what happens there in Baba. Let's see if we can really get this to start to crack here. I'm still up in the green, 84.29s. Now going to start seeing this look for the drop. All right, guys, just added there. Now I have 84.13s, 300 shares. Looking for this to start making the move. Yang is up on the green, so I want to add to that one too to see if I can maybe get that nice 10-cent winner in that one today and step up to the plate. I'm not going to go too crazy there. I'm just going to go for 500 shares as I look to see if maybe the Qs can make another breakdown through the 473. So we just recovered it. Let me see if I can get that 473 takedown back towards 472.50s. And then I can really kind of step up to the plate in Yang. Yang. You guys can see it here. Nice little move there. And then on the 15-minute chart, it's still looking pretty decent also. So I want to look at a deeper time frame there in Yang and see if I'm just getting a nice little push here and I'm playing it right. Hourly candles, nice recovery off that 76, could recover right above this level. This is a big level for it, 88s. As we start to get above that, you can go to the 96 and $9. That's really what I'm looking at. I mean, you can't be wrong if I could get it back there towards 9. Of course, at 95s, I can already take the gain and it'd be a nice little $100. Let's see if I can get a little bit more. Qs came down there, but bounced. And that's the one thing that I'm keeping in mind, right? The hourly is a bounce at that level, at that 473. So you just pulled back to hourly support and washed out the day traders. That's what happened there. At least if I want to think about it in perspective, you washed out the day traders. That's what happened there. They said, you know what? We're going to stuff it to the day traders today. And right there, they stuffed a lot of people, right? So just be careful out there, guys. We'll see what happens now if we get the next move. VWAP combines the two most important things in trading, volume and price. Yeah, Rando, it's actually, right, it's volume tick for price tick up, right? If you know the calculation of VWAP is very important too. So essentially it calculates the tick volume by the tick price. And that's what is calculated here, right? But the truth is like I mentioned, is that VWAP is something that is just a given now. Traders know about this. And when something's a given, it's not as easy to trade off of it. Just simple as that. Nvidia trying to recover that 118. Let's see if the Qs take out the 472.50s here. And the SPY is at the VWAP. Will that go to 560s here? Will we see something going to the red? At least right now, everything is break even. If anything's leading to the upside on the push, it was utilities, and now it just kind of gave up that push. So pretty much break even in the last hour. And what was doing well? Look to see if it continues to do well. Aluminum doing really well today. Let's see if this can continue to push higher. Right? So you look at what's strong and look to see if it stays strong. Oil doing pretty decent today in some of those. The Qs. Susie Q, what are you doing to me? What are you doing, Susie? Down, the 473 bouncing. Will we recover VWAP? VWAP 473.95. So back up 474s, and you could have just stuffed out some short-term bulls, and now you get the move off the long-term bulls. The long-term bulls look at what? Hourly charts. That's why I talk about hourly charts, guys. Be careful for washouts to hourly charts that actually hold. And that's why sometimes I'm looking for hourly shorts and hourly longs where a stock comes back down to a big amount. Like let's say Uber, perfect stock, right? Like they had a big pop in the pre-market. You look for an hourly pullback on that one, back down to 70. And that would make sense for me to long there, right? Not long up here at 72, but long closer towards the hourly support or the 90 MA on the hourly is one way to approach that outlook. Tesla, very similar, right? Hourly approaches down to the support today has been how people have been buying, right? So hourly support around the 226.70s. And look where we went to today, 226.30s, 226.80s. So in that area, I do see that buyers have been stepping up. Now the question is, will it hold and continuously hold. It could just flush through that 227. Of course, I'm all out of Tesla. I've ruined this trade, guys. And what the truth is that I just went too big on the swing trade side, guys. So the swing trade should have been done, but it should have been done at a smaller amount, giving myself the ability to get in and out. And I was on a really good entry yesterday, but the stocks never come back to that level. So I think it's also important and prudent to talk about that, right? I'm going to talk about when I make strength moves and weaknesses moves. In this case, I think I'm doing it wrong. So I'm going to tell you guys that. And how do we learn from that? You guys can drop comments. I won't view this as a negative. If you guys see me take a position and you guys just don't like the way the trade is, the truth is we can keep each other accountable by catching each other's mistakes and being open and free to talking about that, right? Sometimes it is going to be a mistake, and you got to be willing to admit mistakes. Also, be willing to what? Look for the right trades to execute on the way that you're looking at it, and then just following that trade, right? So right now, that's what I'm trying to do in the China trades. We'll see how it works out. Tesla, too big. I went the first trade. I had 80 shares. I was up like $300, ended up only winning 100, right? Second trade, lost about 80 bucks. Not a big deal, right? I had $100, right? Then I lost like 45 bucks. Not a big deal. I had $100, right? So that was only about like 120 to 108. So really just down 20 bucks on the name. Then after that, that's when I started to make the mistake. This morning, taking a swing, risking about 160. Then the next trade, risking about 100. So gave up about 260 now on Tesla on the swing account. This is where I think I'm just giving myself up too quickly, too fast, because the move that I see is up to 245. I got to give myself room to get around the volatility right now and wait for that move higher. In this case, too big, too fast, and thus costing me. Q's bouncing a little bit there. Made an attempt to the downside and right back up, guys. So definitely got to be careful there, guys. Now coming back to the 474s, and it could just recover. So it's going to be a battle right now, guys. The battle's on. I really don't have a direction right now, guys. And that's hard at this point in time to still be in a trade at that level, right? So now I got to go ahead and just set stops and be ready to protect myself if needed, right? So Baba, still don't want to lose over $100 on that. So I'm keeping a really close eye on that. Yang, about 40 bucks, but still haven't gotten the direction to step up to the big sizing. How'd that TNON trade today, guys? Just to take a quick peek. Starting to fade off that 10. Wow, that thing was a crazy monster. It pushed to 15, then went back down to 10. Insane. Nvidia just made a down attempt to 117.75 and now is trying to recover back towards 119. If it gets to 119, I feel like we're starting to climb our way back. Rejection through that 118, and we could see a little bit lower on Nvidia today. Big levels to watch here, guys. Be careful. This is that kind of breakout attempt here for Baba as it starts to come back and the Qs start to come back. So just got to be careful with that outlook. Could have washed out the bulls and now you get the run. So you got to always keep that in mind, right? I'm keeping that in mind as the hourly pullback came in. But after that, we didn't get the continued weakness. We got pops back. So getting a pop back in Baba right now. Don't want to get it through this trend line, but it could easily hit the 50s and then just start to push to 60s. So I got to be really careful here not to let it slip. The real takeout to the upside is 57 as you start to take back the first resistance, not the second resistance. Second resistance wants to like the 50s. And so I'm looking to see what happens here. Q's coming back now, 474.50s. PDD made an up move there. Nvidia at 118.80, so definitely seeing some recovery out there, guys. So still no leak. It's still staying strong. I know that some traders might have got washed on that, but that's tough. That's tough. Starting to see the Qs push a little bit there, guys. Now 474.68. That should give the open door to start seeing Nvidia take off here. And Nvidia pulls back a little bit. Wouldn't you know it, guys? Definitely, you got to look for those names that are just trending right now because there's a lot of back and forth action here. Here's a little spike there in Baba. About to get me out in Baba, guys. Baba about to approach that high again here, guys. Going to approach it and look for the breakout. So just got to be careful here. Going to get caught on this action, and you got to determine the risk. If it's 150 or 100 right now. Right now, I got it at 138 towards the top end, but you could just wick here and then come right back down. That's where it gets a little bit difficult. I got to go ahead and set the risk here. I'm going to set the risk at 141 here. Definitely pushing it, but got to give myself a couple of pennies off of this to see if we just get another decline in the Qs. And I'm not letting it go right now because I'm just trying to not show my hand, but really 84.60s. I got to get the heck out. Also keeping a close eye on that Yang. It's in the red right now, so keeping a close eye there. The Qs are just at the 474.80s, but slowed down a little bit there. And Tesla's still not coming back, man. It is such a choppy type of day, guys. Just got that action through the 60s here. So got to set the alert there. Got to get out here, guys. And that's just how it's going to go. It's going to pressure me here. And the one thing I don't want to do is put too much pressure on me today to the point where I give up a lot of my gains. So I set the stop there. Probably going to get hit for like 153 here in just a second. I should get ticked out there. Gave it to 159 just because it's just trying to trigger me in between the spread, but I should see it tick and just spread me out right now. The spread widens by even like a penny or two. I'm probably just going to get caught here. But the big thing is the Qs are coming back. I'm not trying to fight that action there. The Qs come back up there towards the high and it goes through that 475. It could just start to push. And what happened there? Wicks to the downside, keep stopping traders out on these 15 minutes. I got the same wick yesterday on Tesla that was a really bad wick that stopped me out, and another wick today that stops me out. Tesla, the market, it keeps doing this. The algos are just eating our money right now. You got to be careful out there, traders. They're out on Baba, guys, out on Baba, getting that downside action on Yang also as the Qs just take off to the 475, guys. So now I got to go protect Yang and make sure that I don't get caught on Yang. $475.30s now. Yang coming into the 79s now. Got to go ahead and make a look here. All right, guys, going to risk about another 70 maybe here on this one, and then it'll be that 240 loss if I get it hit on it. Right now, the 77s really would try to get me out here. Looking to see if this can hold 78 support. Below that, 77 starts to get hit, and I'm out of there. And the big part is the Qs just spiking back to the upside. Nvidia is back to 119 too, so you could see Nvidia start to take a little bit of an up move through that level. There's Nvidia starting to come back there. 475 rejection from the top of the end of the Qs, but that doesn't mean that it can't keep going here. Got to go ahead and set the stop. Let it go, guys. If it stops me out at the 87, so be it. I'll wrap up the week in the green and celebrate the week. It's not as good as a week as I want it to be, But the truth is green is green, guys. Green is green. And it's Friday the 13th. Oh, man. Jane, you should have told me. That was telling us something there. We'll see what happens there. Yang, not too bad. Will it make the move to the upside? I set myself up for the trades today, and that's all you can do as a trader. So I set myself up. I gave myself the potential reward, and it just didn't work out today. So be it, guys. And a big part of this, the choppy action on the Qs. When we're getting into these really choppy times, it's going to be very smart to look at hourly candles and 15-minute charts, not 1-minute charts, not 5-minute charts, not 15-minute charts. If anything, back further, hourly, dailies, 4-hour charts, because we keep getting these washouts to supports. And what does that do? It just stops out the trader in between the action, and you don't get the results that you're really looking for, right? And why? Because the algorithms will shake you, especially if you're showing your hands with stops and things like that, right? You don't think they see it? They clearly see it. They came after it today. The Qs came back, absorb some volume. And that's why I think you got to be careful and sticking with the bigger traders, looking at the hourly and the daily charts. Because if you look at the institutional traders, they're not going to be trading on a 1-minute. They're not going to be trading on a 5-minute. Very few have I ever seen institutional traders shorter than even, let's say, a 30-minute chart. Majority of them are going to be more to your hourly charts. Yes, some use that 15, but to tell you the truth, hourly levels is what I mainly see the bigger boys use. And I think that's something to think about and get after, right? Because if you can go after risk to return on hourly lows, it gives you great potential for the reward back to the upside. So when the Qs go there and they go into a little bit of a panic mode and they go back to 473s, if you're buying on the hourly lows there for protection were 472.45. So you could have been buying there, it went to 472.60. So I'm risking 15 cents. Maybe it's a little bit more. Maybe it's 60 cents. I really don't care. Even if it's 60 cents at 473 or 473.5, that's still not a bad risk to return. 60 cents for the move right back to the up end of the range, which is 229. So 229 to risk 60 makes complete sense. They're taking it on the hourlies and they're stuffing it right back to you. So we think that the breakout's coming on the 5 or the 1, and then they stuff it on the hourly. They let it come back to that level and they can rebuy it, right? So one thing is for certain, guys, is that there's a lot of shaking out of positions right now. And that's easily how you just keep getting run over, and you waste money. Right now, I'm not trying to waste any more money, guys. I'm trying to keep myself up and keep going. Even if I have a tough day today, that's the second red day, three green days this week, and we'll just keep pushing, right? That's how it goes. Sometimes we're going to have 2 red days. Sometimes we're not going to have any red days in the week. Right now, it's all about management, and I could trade some to the upside if I wanted to. But for right now, especially on the swing trade, I've lost more than enough that I need to lose today. So we'll see what happens there. Right now, PDD is actually coming back and trying to get me on that 96 for the swing trade. So might have to get out even on that one and take another hit, guys. Big red day in the swing trade account today. I had a really great week in the swing trade account. So overall still positive, but man, it's coming back towards like kind of break even, a little bit of a mixed noise battle, and a lot of that given up on Tesla. PDD, we'll see what happens on that one, up there towards 95, 89s, and could stop me out here as it keeps going back. It's close to getting me out here at the 96. I'm going to give it a couple more pennies, but it doesn't look good here, guys. It looks like it's going to stop me out. And we could get a drive all day, and then eventually at like 3 o'clock afternoon time, you get a dump. That's how it goes in the market right now. Be careful out there, traders. Make sure you understand your risk in a lot of trades and try to keep yourself in the game right now, right? And that's one thing that I will tell you guys. There's certain times where we got to just barely try to make it. Right now is that time where you don't want to be getting run over. You just want to be staying in the fight. Today was one of those days clearly that I could have got run over. I'm glad I didn't get too big in BABA. If I would have got really big in BABA, probably run over in that trade, right? So stay safe out there, traders. Be careful. There's going to be that back and forth action, especially in a time where they just don't know which way the market's going to go. And what does this mean? That we could get some conflicting markets towards the end of the year where we're getting moves up, we're getting moves down. Choppy trading is what's expected. So you got to be careful. And what this also tells me is that we got to be faster to the profits sometimes and make sure that we're taking profits when we have them, right? In a tough environment, the number one thing you can't do is give up gains, right? So right now, I think we're in a tough environment and we can't be giving up those gains. All right, we'll see what happens out there, guys. Stay safe out there, traders. It was a tough day for me. But like always, I'm going to keep it going. And I'm going to smile because it was a great week overall. And that's what it's all about, traders. Keep in the fight, have good habits, good processed approach, and you can celebrate every single week as a trader because why? You're sticking to your rules. So Mustafa out there, Wisdom, Rando, Felipe, Jane, all you guys that join in on a daily basis. It's always great to see you guys in the chat. I'm going to continue battling along with you guys and keep getting after it, traders. Always reach out to me if you have any questions on trading or maybe want to learn a little bit more about a certain topic. We can always take a look at that. Hit the thumbs up on your way out, and I'll see you guys back on Monday, guys. Man, it was a crazy week this week. So I think we all need a little bit of some calmness throughout the weekend. Recharge those batteries. Come back on Monday ready to get after it.